Yo, what it is, people, is getting back in the booth. This video is the ongoing debate, which is still going to go on, rather Versus likes it or not. But yeah, Versus, my dude, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. All right, I just want to say that first and foremost. Yeah, you don't know what you're talking about. Because just for starters, right? And I'm not trying to be disrespectful at all. I don't know you as a person, but it seems like your personality does come out in when you make these videos and the things that you say, right? First and foremost, I want to bring up character, right? When you were young, right, or when anybody was young, when you met a very immature person, right, or whatever the case is, right? When you had an argument with somebody, and when you proven that they were wrong, what did they normally do? They'd stop talking. They were like, I don't want to talk about this anymore. I'm done. And sir, it just seems like you just did that. You know, multiple people proving you wrong within football, because that's what we're talking about. We're talking about football. We're not talking about any other whatever you're talking about. Right? We're talking about football. We're not talking about who's the best mathematician. We're not talking about that. We're talking about football. So for you to be like, oh, I'm done debating, you know, it has nothing to do with seeing eye to eye. It's about what you always say, seeing logically, talking logically. Logically, everybody knows that we're talking about football. So why are you talking about other stuff that's not relative to football? Yeah, you know, like, yeah, when a quarterback throws a ball, yeah, trajectory, and you can measure it, right? You can measure the outcome of that, but it's football, not. This is football. We're talking about football. We're not talking about geometry class. We're not talking about physics class. We're not talking about any of that, right? Another thing I want to bring up about character, right, is why would you, right, release a video stating your so-called opinion, right, your opinion, and then nobody could comment on it. And then nobody can even rate your video. Why is that? Why? Because I think the comments from the people who actually understand football and love football will disagree with you. The people, I'm not even talking about Apex or the big names or anybody, or even me, right? I'm talking about your regular everybody, whoever looks at your videos. You understand what I'm saying? Why would you not give them the opportunity to disagree with you and try to prove you wrong? Why? You know, it's like your word means more than everybody else's, right? That right there is wrong. That's not cool. You know, I would never make a video where, you know, people can't comment on my video. I mean, I don't get that many comments anyway, but I'm just saying, I wouldn't do that. That's not my nature. So I don't understand, why would you do that? Okay? All right. So now on to the debate, right? I want to ask you something, and you probably won't answer it no way. Are you talking about, is your whole thing the rating system versus numerical base, the ability based system within all pro football versus whatever you're thinking about? Or are you talking about just the idea of it? I think all of us, right, are talking about the idea of the ability based system. Right? Not so much how it was implemented in all-pro football, which I believe it was implemented very well. Right? I think it was implemented very well in all-pro football. Is it perfect? No, there's nothing perfect. You know, we're not God. We don't make anything. God can't even make anything perfect. All right? So, yeah, it's not perfect, but it works and it describes football very well. It describes football. It doesn't showcase great math. You could look at it like that, right? But it describes football the best. And then you have the nerve in your first video, you said, I don't want to hear anybody bring up Madden. So again, I ask you, if we can't bring up Madden, why are you bringing up 2K? And like I was going to say, Are you talking about the game or the actual system? What are you talking about? You talking about all pro football, or are you talking about an actual ability system? What are you talking about? Because it seems like you have something against all pro football to me. You know, it don't seem like, you know, the ability-based system comes in last most of the time. Yeah, you bring it up, but you always talk about the shortcomings of all pro football. You don't, you know, the ability-based system is the most realistic rating system out there, right? There's nothing else more realistic than that. Right? You could go on your tangents about math and numbers and space and whatever, right? But how NFL analysts describe players and how all pro football describe players is eerily similar. And the funny thing is, when we remake our teams that we love so much in the NFL, they play eerily similar, right, to their real life counterparts. Why is that? If ability-based system is so off, is so fundamentally wrong, if it's not, if numerical-based system is so correct, tell me, you prove to me or anybody else who's looking at the video how an ability-based system, no, how a numerical-based system has worked. Because honestly, if you compare the two, right, the ability-based system is relatively young, isn't it? Is it only one game used it? Right? You know? How about, as long as a numerical-based system has been out, it should be easy for you to prove how well it's been done. Prove to me how well it's done. Show a video about that. Tell me how it's been done. Perfectly. Okay? Tell me that. Show me that. Since you want to show all types of proof and these professors and these mathematicians and go off on these tangents, show that proof where a numerical-based system has worked. That's my challenge for you. I bet you won't. I bet you can't. Because why? You said you're done. And the reason why only a person would say they're done in a debate when they haven't proven their point is when somebody else has proven their point opposing the other person. Okay? So why would you do that? Prove it. Prove that. Prove that right there. Show how a numerical-based system actually works. And it has to look and be better than all pro football. You tell me. Okay? Interesting, isn't it? And you're reverse engineering whatever crap you were talking about, saying that Biff goes back in the future and he knows the outcome, and that's why it's like an illusion or whatever crap. First of all that stuff that you were saying, all sim games do that. All sim games do that. Okay? All sim games do that, dude. Right? The developers, they look at their real life counterpart because they know the outcome or the probability, the word you use, probability of an outcome of a certain situation. So that's where they get their ratings from. Right? All sim games do that. So you can't go off on a tangent and say, oh, that's what they did with all pro football, and that's just why it's locked down, as you put it. And sir, you're wrong with saying that, because the abilities are not locked down in all pro football. Because what happens when a player gets tired? When Earl Campbell gets tired, does he break 5 tackles as if he would when he had full energy? Because you just show that. He has branching tackle ability. So you're saying that even if he's tired, or let's just use your terminology, if in the game, if he gets to be 75 years old, like you said, right, he should still be able to break all tackles, right? So shouldn't that apply to stamina as well? Shouldn't it? But it doesn't. When Earl Campbell or any player gets tired, they play worse. Right? So that proved you wrong right now. They can make a tiering type of system where if a player gets older, that their abilities will decrease. They could do that. They just didn't because it was a design choice. Okay? A design choice. So you're wrong with that. So if you want to end that debate, you end it off wrong. Okay? That's just that. You know, and this is the thing that we're all talking about. Like I said earlier, maybe if you didn't get it, I'll say it again. We all make our argument relative to football. We don't go off on some other tangent. We don't talk about mathematics where I've never heard a mathematician go up on SportsCenter and describe football. That has never happened. Not even the analysts talk like that. So how can you say that ability-based system is fundamentally flawed when fundamentally that's how coaches pick their prospects in real life, not some tangent that you make up? How's that possible? Answer that one. We are all on All Pro Football's side because it reps football the best, right? We will stick up for All Pro Football as good as we can, I guess, because it represents football. It doesn't represent math. I'm not going to play All Pro Football to learn math. I'm not going to play Madden to learn math. Okay? So, what's your whole argument about? It's about nothing. Seriously. You bring up a debate, right, and then you don't like what people say. We're playing basketball. You got mad because somebody dunked on you and you're taking the ball and you're going home. That's what you're doing. Good job, Versus. Not really.